Welcome to episode 26 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Welcome to all the new listeners. Welcome to all the tune-in listeners, these guys who listen on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, wherever you listen. If you're enjoying it, like it, share it, subscribe. It makes a big difference. And of course, salute to everybody who takes it in on the Cadence Club link. Some people tell me that it's better to listen on the Cadence Club link because it don't take up all that memory on their phone. Wherever you listen, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. It goes a long way. I appreciate all of it. Now, the funny thing about this podcasting, right, is that sometimes you're looking at the news and it's a struggle for content and you have to try to figure out what to talk about, like last week. And then, as soon as I finished recording last week, and for it's out, like from Tuesday to Wednesday, I think I had enough for a whole podcast. That's just the world we live in. Trinidad is really something else. When the news come in, like it don't stop coming. So I know which part to start today. I think the best place for me to start, given that I released an episode with my sister last time and I enjoyed doing that so much, and everybody asking me, who is Cash? Or what is Cash, more or less? And I think I keep referring to Cash as, but that's her husband. She married to a matter of fact, I go and see if I could call Cash. Because Cash is pretty much a hater. I go and see if I get him on the phone and see what he up to.
Hello.
I thought your wife was going to answer. I want to know if she want to do our next episode.
No, she called. She said that when you called that you're gonna be recording. So she was like, "Yeah, go somewhere that's nice and quiet." Okay. So basically, she didn't want to be around me anymore. I understand.
But that's good for
How you
you.
doing,
That's
man?
also work good for you.
Yeah. You called right when my boys was about to play.
Who's your boys now?
Seattle. Stop playing. You know who they are.
Wait. Hold on. Where you born again? Where you from?
I'm from Washington D.C., Maryland.
Right.
That's where I'm from.
So
Maryland,
the team playing tonight
Washington,
is
D.C.
So the Washington football team is playing tonight. Is what you say?
No. Not them. Seattle, Washington. How about that?
Well, that's the best cop out I ever hear.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I good. How everything with you? Good?
Yeah. No complaints.
So I was telling everybody, like, since Janelle recorded last week and I put it out, like, I keep referring to Cash. So everybody's like, why is Cash? Why are you calling her Cash? And I was like, listen, I need to clear this up. I need to clear this up come next week because everybody just says she's a gold digger now.
Oh, so you want to know why everybody called me Cash?
No, I'm saying everybody's asking me why I keep calling her Cash. And we keep referring to Cash in the episode. I don't think I made it clear that your name is Cash, right?
No. Oh, yeah. That's a work thing. Ever since I started working at UPS, they just go by last name, and it just stuck. It's fitting. It's all right. It's cool having the last name Cash with no money. It's cool.
Money's supposed to follow you. Money. It must reach you.
I guess I have an infinite amount, right?
Exactly. So Seattle, your boy's supposed to be playing tonight. Now I done set everybody up for all this Patriots hate that's gonna come, right? So I want to clear something up early. Patriots are still the greatest franchise in the sports history of all time. And Cam Newton, we giving him 1 year, like to the end of this year, because this is the first time I've ever seen AFCs and see anything except Patriots on top there is depressing. Mm-hmm. But I think by next year we're back in the Super Bowl.
No.
You think so?
No, you must have had a couple of drinks. No, it's not going to happen. If Cam Newton cuts his hair, maybe. But if he keeps wearing his hair like that, it's not going to happen.
Cam is fitter than I ever see him looking. I don't think Cam...
And last, what was it? Last night, or yesterday, rather, is the only time I ever rooted for that man. Because he was going against a division rival So I needed him to win, and luckily they won.
He came through.
Yeah.
And that's not going to help us whatsoever. I think we should just tank at this point. See what draft picks, because we need some receivers, boys. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh man.
So what's up with your boys in Seattle?
We're a good team, not a great team.
No Super
Probably
Bowl
one
quality.
of the worst. No. I'm a realist. No Super Bowl. Competitive, but our defense is like if me and you got 9 other players, we could put up a bunch of numbers and score on them. It's just they'll probably just outscore us, but no, they're not doing anything. They got a terrible defense. Russell's doing his thing, but bad defense.
Yeah, boy. I mean, he will always be good. But y'all have a division. As I walk through, that division should be, you're going to win the division, right? I think y'all must have just lost 1 game or something like that.
No, we lost 3.
Okay.
And we played tonight. So
that's what Eagles are going to.
So you have great timing.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to keep you here as long as I could keep you, so you can miss as much of that game as possible. So we need to talk some Trini stuff, right?
Oh, we can talk about some Trini stuff. I don't know too much, but we can talk about it.
Good. So first question for you. What was it like growing up in Washington and then getting a Trini wife? How was it like for a Trinidadian woman?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I guess for her, as far as meeting her is concerned, like she doesn't talk with an accent, right. So I didn't know that she was from Trinidad or whatever. Like it's like, oh, are you American? It's like you look at her and then it's like, but she just looks black. You think she's from the area or something. And she's like, no, I'm from Trinidad or whatever.
Right.
But then when she talks to you or a family, anybody else, then it all comes out. It's crazy. But I guess it's a great thing not to talk about a lot of women here or whatever, but meeting her, that's a blessing. The way she was raised, she's very domesticated,
right?
And it's I don't like to use the word submissive in a negative sense.
I know what you mean, like a homemaker type, like like a wife.
Yes,
right?
Yes. Very, very. Her upbringing was like great. Mm-hmm. So most of the women that I've met, younger, even going into like mid-20s or whatever, they're not like that,
right?
And there's some here and there, but it's not like that. So I'll say I got one of the needles out of the haystack.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you had no accent trouble and that kind of thing in the beginning. She was talking pretty close, so you could understand it. It's like,
yeah, I didn't even know, but I used to make fun of her every time she got on the phone with like a family member, father, grandmother, or something, and it all comes out. A couple times I recorded her. I was like, oh, so you really do talk like that? I was like, what? So I was like, okay.
But you get used to it now? Like, how much of the accent you understand? Like, when both of us talk to one another, when I'm talking to Janelle, how much of it do you get?
Oh, no. It's still tough because then she starts saying stuff kind of fast and you're talking kind of fast. and you're like very witty, I should say. So you'll say something and start laughing. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, what did he say? Then she got to explain it. And then you're just sitting back there laughing like a Tickle Me Elmo doll. And I'm just like, oh, he just said something funny. So you're like a businessman comedian. Yeah.
It's a good combination.
You're like hilarious, man. Yeah, I don't know. You like I don't know. You missed your calling or something.
Like you ain't say businessman, comedian. I was hearing hearing this guy saying the exact same thing about Kevin Hart. Like Kevin Hart released a special recently. And I always like stand-up comedy. If you had asked me as a child what I wanted to be, I would have said stand-up comedian. So maybe I did miss my calling.
Right.
Boy, this guy was getting into Kevin Hart. He's a great businessman, comedian, but like on this special, he forgot the whole comedian part. He just gave us businessman.
Yeah, I saw a couple. I didn't see the stand up, but I saw a couple people doing interviews and mixed reviews.
Yeah, it was bad.
Couple people didn't like it. And a couple females they said they did like it. So I don't know. Maybe I have to just check it out for myself.
Yeah. The thing is with him, I think he's no denying he's funny. He's one of the best comedians there ever was, but he does not deal with any issues. I guess he gets so PC over the years, like he's trying to maintain this image and all that. And it's just so middle of the road, and it's almost boring to a point, boy. So it's like,
right.
He's something else. But you've been to Trinidad a couple of times. I was telling Janelle said on the podcast last week that I asked her if she could survive living. I asked her if you could survive living in Trinidad, and she said you'd probably do better than her living here.
Yeah, even though she's from there, I probably could, because I'm more laid back. I will just go with the flow. Just hang out, chill. I guess when you start getting a little older, you do less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's more sitting around, talking, socializing, chilling. I'm not looking for no parties or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I danced to the music, couldn't sing along anyway. So, so I'm just chill. The weather's great. Most of the time. So the only thing I couldn't deal with is like getting tore up by mosquitoes. But outside of that,
well, they get used to, as soon as you pass tourist stage and you're moving fully, they fed up with that blood. Yeah. They're looking for fresh blood.
Yeah. She said it, so I could chill. I could chill there. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're right. Like, when you're after a certain age, and that's the thing I think people don't get about men too. Like, you reach the point where it's not like if you have to. Like, I was talking to a girl the other day, and she was saying about men settling down. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's not really as calculated as you all think it might be. Like, you make this decision to settle down. I think you run out of steam. You just don't have the energy anymore.
Yeah, no, it's like with anything else, you eat good. Mm-hmm. You just give me some good food, some good fruta, and you know what I'm saying? Some good food, some good fruta, and some kind of sports. I don't care if it's football or cricket or whatever, and I'm good.
That's a whole turn up for me. That's
field. Exactly. Yeah. Or you could just red pepper and fruta. Or
wait.
Forever.
We need to get to the bottom of this fruta thing. Like, I don't understand why. I don't understand what it is about fruta. Why you drink fruta? Nobody drinks fruta.
What? Okay.
Or nobody admits it. What is so good about fruta?
So you say so you say nobody drinks fruta, right?
Yeah.
But then she tells me it's like one of the biggest selling drinks over there.
It's probably top selling juice in Trinidad.
Okay. So on one hand, you're sitting here telling me that nobody drinks fruta, but it sells. You don't think that's confusing to somebody? Nobody drinks fruta, but it's like number one selling juice. You know why it's the number one selling juice? Because it's the best tasting juice I've ever had.
Wait, hold on.
It is
Let's not
great.
Go so far. Let's not go so far.
Something is wrong with her taste buds, yours, and everybody else that don't like fruta.
It's like men watch Lifetime movies sometimes, right? But no man would admit to watching a Lifetime movie. That's how it works with fruta here. Maybe people drink it, but nobody will admit to it because that's terrible. It's barely drinkable.
Why? Like, and then the girl at Red Pepper looked all crazy.
Why you remember Red Pepper? Of all these things in Trinidad, why you remember?
Because you told the funniest joke in there. like that's like Stephen cooking that red pepper or something. Like it was like the funniest thing. It's like the funniest thing. But
nobody eats on red pepper. Well, red pepper is my spot. I kind of like red pepper a lot. That's for people who listening, like on Superior Street in San Fernando. It's like one of those food by the pound places.
Mm-hmm.
And this man had like about 2 of them fruiters. They were so happy that somebody bought them fruiters. They were like, "What? You want fruiter?" I was like, "What?" You just re-up after you. It's like,
and here I am in the country for like 4 or 5 days talking about some y'all need to fill up the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Or as if I'm coming back or something. like I'm starting a trend or something. Yeah.
That's it. Listen, the people will pay for your flight. As soon as the borders open back, that company that makes fruits, I'm sure they'll fly you in. You do wonders for their stock.
Hey, listen, I would love to be a poster child for Fruita. Give me a can, put me on a poster. I'll be sitting there with a smile. Best drink in Trinidad.
Sad. No, listen. The strange thing is that, right? You love Fruita that nobody here likes, but there's a song that everybody here loves that you don't like at all.
And what's that?
Dingole. What is your take on Mighty Shadow? Dingole.
How did I know that this was coming?
This is definitely coming.
Okay. She told me that you'll probably ask me that, right? Okay. I look at now. I don't know. Again, I don't know all your songs or anything like that.
Right.
But when I'm playing them, because she makes me download them and just play them or whatever. But like, there's just certain songs like I remember, like I can see you having fun to like Dollar Wine, right?
Yeah, that's a big.
I like that song.
Right.
There's like, what is it? Splinters. There's another song. What is it? Like Run With It or whatever.
Right,
like these just like little fun songs. Then there's this new stuff. Like it's like some dark side type music or whatever. But it's like really nice, right? It's like you're partying,
right?
And then you hit Dingole. I equate Dingole. It's almost like if you was listening to Biggie Smalls,
right,
and then put on gospel.
Party over.
It's like I went from Biggie to gospel. Oh no, I gotta go.
Yeah. Like for people who don't know, it as Dingole is when your shoes tear up and your shoes bust up.
Oh man, jump up. This song is so terrible. I can't do it. It's almost like it's almost like listening to Method Man and then putting on We Are the World with Michael Jackson and Ray Charles.
No, the thing is this, right? Like, that was one of like a classic song to me, right? Yeah, one of these songs I love. But the last time I talked to you and you kind of broke it down like it's like the Dingole part, how sad it is. The next time I hear that song, I was like, wait. I was like, hold on. This is kind of sad. The whole melody is sad.
Yes. How do you and then she's talking about, oh man, this is the greatest song, and I get it. We Are the World was a great song. But you're not playing it in your car.
No, and you're not going to party to that for sure.
I just can't see somebody driving down the street in Trinidad, not making fun of anybody, but I can't see nobody driving down the street and I'm hearing, like I can't see it. I can't see some 27-year-old bumping Dingole.
Well, boy, you make me watch that song different because, like you said, you last time we spoke, you was like just listen to the starts of it, listen to where it starts, and then I put that on. I was like, and I was like, wait, this could be kind of depressing.
It was like, so I apologize if I offend anyone. Not trying to, I just can't do it. It might be a great song. I just can't do it. No.
So love fruits or hate dingole is the greatest thing I've seen. You really need to come here. Like if you come here, we get into enough arguments about that. Like people would be ready to fight. So you need to as soon as the borders like open back, it's time to come here and get people spicy about that.
Yeah, I listen. But it must be true. Whatever you're saying must be true because nobody wants to serve me fruta. They think that it's like the bottom of the barrel drink, and I'm like, this is the greatest like ever. You know?
Boy, you would never know how funny that is to me. Like I can't figure it out.
I can only imagine people like, well, if he likes fruta, what in the heck is he drinking at home?
Yeah, exactly.
Water.
Oh yeah, clearly must be. So anything is a step up.
Yeah, no doubt.
But listen, the next time you come here, we have a Romy. I always tell people about this Romy game with me and Daddy and Papa and all of us that you played. And it's two things I had to say before I let you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something you said in that game, we say every time we play Romy now, every single time.
What's that?
Study wrong, study long, study wrong.
Study long, study wrong.
Every time somebody taking long to play is like that stick with everybody.
And what's the name of that game? All Fours, right?
Well, yeah, we play All Fours or Romy. Like most times we play All Fours or Romy in Trinidad. But you play All Fours, that's all? You ever learn to play?
Okay. Well, I know you say you tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say study long, study wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you tell a story that your father can't play All Fours.
So you beat him in All Fours?
Yeah, I had a better score than he did. And it was my first time playing.
Good. Well, listen, I'm going to cut that out and put it at the front of the episode. Let him hear that immediately. I don't want him to go too far to hear that. And listen, the next thing is, you talk about me being funny, right? But I think the single funniest thing I ever heard, I hear from you in Jamaica. That I don't think I ever laughed so much. And just like how when I talk to you make me change my mind about Dingole, you make me change my mind about this movie too. So listen, you had some friends with you. We met up in Jamaica. Coincidentally, I was there for a wedding and you guys were there celebrating, right?
Yes.
I think it was an anniversary or something.
Yes.
And you all had some friends there, right? We met up at Rick's Cafe. Rick's Cafe is one of the nicest places I've ever been. That sunset is amazing and everything.
Have to go every time I go to Jamaica.
It's something else. I've never, like when I used to be there and I had never gone to the grill before I met you all at that time and I was living there. I just didn't want to take the drive. And there was this driver who always used to tell me, boy, you have to go to Rick's. The sun falls in the sea. I'm like, listen, the sun is everywhere in the world. I don't need to go to Rick's Cafe to see the sun, but boy, I was wrong about that. I was wrong about that. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful restaurant. It's in a perfect spot. I love it.
Exactly. But on the way out, you told your friend, right, that she looks like Frank Lucas.
That she looks like who?
Like Frank Lucas. And listen, at this point, I didn't want to laugh, right? Because I don't know, I just met the girl and everything. And I didn't want to laugh. I was trying my best not to laugh. But when I look at her, it was like, she really looking a little bit like Frank Lucas. And then you said, not Denzel Washington when Washington was playing Frank Lucas, like the real Frank Lucas. And boy, at that point, I could not, I was almost on the floor.
Yeah, oh man, that's all we do. She's like a sister to me, you know. And you know, love her to death. She grew up. Well, she's older. I grew up right across the street from her. So like my house, if I look out my kitchen window, they look out their kitchen window. We're like looking right at each other. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And she always been there for me, you know, as like really started from like early teens, like hanging out with them from like 14 on. And I guess because of my height, you know, when you see a little 14-year-old, it's like this little kid, but I guess my height got me over a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So
the older kids.
And it just catapulted from there. And even now, you know, every time we see each other, we exchange pleasantries like watch out, she gonna rob you or she gonna do something. And after we say some negative stuff about each other, then we're like, hey, so what's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
You can see that's really, I mean, you can see you all have a great relationship because she's a good sport. She's like a good sense of humor because she was not bothered at all.
And her and her family just love Janelle. Like they'll go to the moon for her. Right. You know, they even look past me.
Yeah,
they're like, I forget you. How's your wife? I'm like, what?
Nice.
What? Yeah, hold up, y'all knew me first. You know.
Good luck with that.
And I wanted to tell them, like, look, she was the one stalking me at her job. I know she told you the other way around, but
it was the other way around.
Yeah, of course.
I figured so.
She said, I was like, you know what? You did the right thing by interviewing by yourself, because I would have told the truth. You know, I go to her job, she ducking and hiding. Yeah, she did. It was like, like a little kid. Right. I like him.
Yeah.
If she ain't like me, how come every time she see me, her face, she like the Kool-Aid man, smiling from ear to ear.
She was ready.
Grinning from ear to ear. Well, if you don't like somebody, you ain't doing that.
For sure. And you're not hiding either. It's a funny thing. If you don't like, if you're not interested in somebody who come and buy a job, you wouldn't hide, you wouldn't do anything. You would just do your job, right?
Yeah. You'd be like, whatever, here you go. And go on about your business. She ducking and hiding and doing flips and sliding on the floor. Why are you doing all this?
It's like,
just make sure you had them high heels that was curled up in the front. That's all. Everything looked good from head to them shoes. Once you got to them shoes, that was it. Maybe that's why I was put in her life, to get her a new pair.
Probably. You gotta take care of that, right? It's like you can't get right.
Oh man. But now I know you're giving the interview, but let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why was you lip singing at one of those functions that I was at with that band? Let the people hear that. Your father got a whole band. It almost looked like the Fat Albert and the Gang band. One person playing the guitar, somebody playing the bass, all these little instruments. You had a little ukulele. That thing was probably about 4 inches long with one string on it. And you was trying to sing. So why were you lip singing, man?
Listen, tell I don't know what function you were talking about. I was never in no band. I just gonna deny everything.
Okay.
We need to get our whole band up in Washington.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You gotta sing.
You don't have subways there
for real, man.
You have a subway there or anything in Washington? What's there? What's the public transport like?
Oh yeah, we definitely. We have. And I'm not saying it because we live here, but we have Metro Rail. It's actually the best rail system in the country.
Well, that's perfect. So if I come with the whole band and we get one of those cases, we're supposed to be able to make some money over there. Like put a hat down, play. We just play Dingole from morning till night.
It'll probably be 2 nickels in there. You know what? Somebody will probably pay you $100 just to stop singing. Like, you know what? Change the song.
Like I tell Janelle, I think it's the 20th of January, Trump's supposed to leave, so we could come over and play Dingole for Trump on the exit. It would be pretty sad for half of America, so we could probably let it fly.
Oh, man, that'll expedite him up out of there. Oh, man.
Oh, good. All right, well, let me go and get to these people and the bad news. And we'll pick up. Next time, once the borders open here, I'm calling you with flight details for when we come in.
Oh, yeah. Yes, please.
Make sure you're off for the whole week.
And don't just say it, man.
No. We really need to do it. We'll take care of them kids. So I tell them kids I'll say hello.
Most definitely, I will, man.
All right, good
And
on.
likewise, and have a good night, man. I
Yeah, same to
appreciate
you.
it.
Good luck to the
Uh,
Eagles later.
uh, whatever, man. Bye.
All right, cool. Later. So listen, that's what that is now you know was the reason for Cash, right? So that is my guy. He is easily one of the funniest people I know. But anyway, it's time to get to business. It's time to get to business here. As we're talking about American stuff, I was talking to him, and of course he's from Washington and born and grown there, as you would have heard. So if you don't understand what that was about, just go back to the last episode, interviewed my sister, that's Janelle Cash, that's her husband. And as we on Yankee stuff, that's my new Yankee correspondent for anything Yankee on the podcast. That's my guy. But I had to talk a little bit about Tyson versus Roy Jones, right? Roy Jones and Tyson fight on Saturday night. And if you listen to this podcast, you know that's something I was excited about for a long time. I've been waiting to get to the Tyson versus Roy Jones thing. I like boxing just enough, but I remember Tyson in his heyday, like knocking people out and all that. And Roy Jones might have been my favorite fighter because he was as cocky as Tyson was, but he was also as cocky and as dangerous. But what I like about him was how defensive he was. Like he would put his guard down and put his face out and give people the opportunity to hit him, and they couldn't hit him. He was Floyd Mayweather before Floyd Mayweather. I don't think people give Roy Jones his respect. And I think like because I listened to Hot Boxing podcast with Mike Tyson a lot, like I listened to all his episodes. If you never listen to Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, just go and look for it on any one of the podcast apps and search for Boosie Badass. Like, go and listen to his interview with Boosie, and you'll understand how Mike Tyson has changed over the years, and he just being the icon that he is, but also from being one of the most dangerous people around to just being one of the coolest people. And his focus now, his main business outside of the pigeon, I don't know what it's called that. Not fighting, but mining pigeon. His main business seems to be marijuana. He have this big weed farm or weed resort and those things. So Tyson is a whole different being. So I'm looking forward to this fight all the time, boy. And Stacey and her friends, now salute to Stacey friends, I must say. Stacey and her friends, Andrea and Desi and Shade and Jamila and Aisha and Denise and who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. Whoever I forget you. But these girls plan an event for Stacey Saturday. It was really nice. It's nice to live a life where you have friends who just get stuff done for you, just to show you how special and everything you are. So because it was a girls' lime, I trying to disappear now. But they calling me any lime a kind of way. And then I want to disappear because it's a girls' lime. But in my mind, I have the Tyson thing. You know what I mean? I don't want to miss that. So I said, all right, let me organize everything for them. I try to get whatever they need, whatever. And they didn't really need me, but the little things that they needed me for, I try and put them in place so that I could get ready by 9 o'clock to watch this fight. Listen, that was a big mistake. I try my best. I don't have problems staying up too late in the night already. 9 o'clock I come, I see two little small men fighting. They say it's undercard and thing. I say, all right, cool. I try to watch this undercard. I done sleeping on myself already, yeah? Next thing I see a next supporting bout. It's time to get to 10 o'clock. A next supporting bout. After that supporting bout, that second one now, Wiz Khalifa come and start to perform like random. Keep in mind, it's still COVID times, yeah? And it have no crowd there. But Wiz Khalifa performing, and I ain't talking about just like, you know, in boxing, a man will sing a song like rap coming out and the boxer come. I talking about he just performing. And it's done a struggle to get a stream. You can't know he ain't paying for no pay-per-view, right? It's done a struggle to get a stream to watch this fight. But somehow they going on and on with this performance and it's black and yellow. I said, what is this? After that is our next fight again. Well, boy, I fallen asleep. I was struggling. I'm fighting to stay up, but I'm with them because I can't miss this fight. And then I see one more supporting, but I see Nate Robinson and Jeff, whatever the man name is. And I tell myself, this is enough. Because now it's starting to get to 12 o'clock. And I sleepy. I can't stay up much longer. And I'm starting to doubt whether or not Roy Jones and Tyson could stay up that long either. Them men is too old, man. Them men trying to, them can't stay up so late. So I don't know what they really, what's the real plan? Because at 12, Nate Robinson, what's the white boy named boy? Jake Paul. But listen, I'm so glad I watched that fight. Because Nate Robinson, if anybody don't know, is a basketballer, right? Nate Robinson started a rush wild. He just running in and pelting like them wild men in school when they're fighting, they just closing their eye and swing their hand. That man started running in, but I say, but what, I telling myself, but this guy gonna get knockouts. He have no guard up. He just running in. What boy? Listen, that man get knockouts and get put to sleep. And I thinking, but you are a basketballer. You come to play in boxing. But anyway, that was entertaining because at least you get to see a little knockout. And I telling myself, the most I could hope for is that Roy Jones don't die in that ring. Because the more I think about it, is the more it could be over for Roy Jones. Especially after seeing the weigh-in the day before. And when they weigh-in, Tyson looked like a beast. A 50-year-old beast. And Roy Jones looked like a 50-year-old not a beast. Or 50-year-old obese. But boy, the fight ended up being, eventually they started the fight. I think it could have been close to 1 o'clock in the morning. But I get to take any fight, the stream started working and settled down. And boy, to be honest, it was a good fight. I must say, I really expected to see something different. You know, your expectation is to see old Tyson or old long-time Roy Jones, which I guess I was never going to see that. But two of them men is his tactical geniuses because they went in there and fight. And boy, Roy tried best not to die. And he's still a little defensive. It's not looking as elegant or as fast as it used to look. But it don't need to be because Tyson ain't as fast as he used to be either. But boy, when Roy Jones get the first blow to the ribs, that man started blow heavy like Etienne Charles in that corner. That man blowing. But it was nice to see how he still had the defensive thing because Tyson couldn't knock him out. Tyson, they say no knockouts there, but I think Tyson was trying to land a few because he landed some very big body blows. But the winner on the night, although the fight draw, but the winner on the night was Snoop. Because Snoop should commentate everything. Snoop is like, get out of there, Roy. Snoop sounded like if he genuinely frightened for Roy Jones. So it was a nice night overall. Stacey and them at the time, I get to watch my little boxing in between sleep and wake. And it was nice. And as I say, if you get a chance, check out Hot Boxing. You'll see the new Mike Tyson. I mean, he was even funny in his interviews because they was asking Roy, like, you wasn't frightened, you was worried. And he's like, but what are you worrying about him for? He just fight the other day. I ain't do this in 15 years. Nobody ain't frightened for me. And he right now, I was never frightened for Tyson. And Roy Jones never looked like he threatened Tyson. He never looked like he hit him too hard either. But I guess they had to call it a draw. But as I say, the Hot Boxing podcast is great. And if you're talking podcast, let me just talk about some local content one time too, right? There's another podcast I discovered this week from Whitney Husbands called Island Lime. I came across it because, well, I don't know how I feel about Yellow Cow TV, right? I don't want to go back over that again, but Nadia Batson was on that Island Lime with Whitney Husbands, and I think it's a real decent podcast too. I like it. I like it's Whitney on her own, just talking about stuff, and she have a vibe. I always find Whitney Husbands have a vibe even when she was on radio, and we had some interactions with Whitney for events we did in the past, and she's extremely professional, really, really good at what she does, and she show up and get the job done. So I like the whole podcast again to see a little bit more about her because I listened to one episode and boy, you only got to tell me how you feel about this, boy, because Whitney is talking about a situation. The episode starts off with a voice note, right? And the voice note was basically from a man saying that he and his girlfriend or wife or whatsoever, they're in a long-term committed relationship, right? But both of them decide to spice things up, as he put it. You're going to spice things up. So they decide to do a little threesome. But he said they're back and forth now because they don't know who going first. Because it's a threesome to bring a man into the threesome or to bring a woman into the threesome. Now, let me stop there for a minute, right? I didn't know. When I hear threesome, I never know a man is an option. If we're being honest, I don't know. I just didn't know. If I ever talk about threesome with a woman, I never know. I never know a man was. I can't even get the words out right. When I say threesome, I mean two women and a man. I never know that this. But the man say he in mind. He say, but is who will go first. So he say he ain't bother ends up push it again. He say he went ahead and they get the fella and they do the threesome with the fella. Now don't ask me. So I telling I selling it just how I buy it. I ain't adding on nothing, I ain't minusing nothing. I listened to the podcast and that was what the voice notes say. He say he went and they do the threesome with the man first. Now, if I doing a threesome with a woman, is everybody with everybody. Is a three ways, right? Three ways, as the name suggests. So I don't know if it was a three-way and he and the man. I don't know. I just telling you what they say, right? So he say that end up come and done now. And then when he asking for he turn or to return the favor now, where he could get a woman to come for the threesome, she breaks in. It ain't happening and all that, right? And then he say casually, he say we even go back with the man 2 more times. I don't know if it's the same man or different man. Whitney was trying to figure that out too. I don't know. But I just picking up that story because I don't know how people feel about this. But it was real clear that Whitney real don't like threesomes. And she was saying that will destroy a relationship. And you know, they say the spiritual thing when you have sex, you let somebody enter your spiritual realm and all this kind of thing. All right, cool. And she keeps saying like, if you're into that, well, good for you, but don't go and do that because now I feel like Whitney had a bad experience threesome. To be honest, it's something like she had a little bad experience. I hope she talked about it at some point, but I also want to know if the bad experience threesome she had was with 2 men and a woman, or 2 women and a man. Because now it make me realize, well, threesome could be anything. Threesome could be 3 women, 3 men. I don't know. I always thought that threesome mean 2 women and a man. But anyway, the podcast was real good. You need to hear this fella talk about this to become my guy. Songing real. He songing slight defeated because the man say one time they went back with the male threesome, I will call it, 3 times. So that's a 9-some basically. And then when it's his turn, they get the girl and the man said they went and they get the girl and when it's time in the room, the girl start to make a scene and thing and he never get through. So he asking basically, if I should horn she. We don't horn one another, we just do it thing. But that is the strangest couple minutes I ever spent in my life listening to that thing because that was odd. The whole thing was odd because homeboy basically at a point where he's studying, do I go outside and get what I want? Or because she ain't coming through with the threesome, I guess the jealousy. And Whitney do a good job covering it too. So taking Whitney was real good where that is concerned. But let me get into the meat of the matter for this week now. This week was an interesting week. As I say, more thing happened the day I launched the podcast than the whole couple weeks before. So the first thing I see when I get up and I think, I say, all right, let me see what's going on, make my little notes for what we're going to talk about next week. I see a dead man saying no. I don't know how he has put this right. A dead man sitting down in the back of our van. And you know, social media is unfold as the day go along. Because first you just see like random people driving behind it and saying like, what's this? What's going on here? And it's like the thing is on the streets. You see a dead man. It's clear that there's a dead man sitting down with a shades and a suit in the back of a tree on a chair. And 2 other fellas holding him up. And it's looking like they're holding him like they need to support him. But like they're there in case he fall. I don't know, boys. The most awkward thing I see. So Stacey asking me now if I ain't see this dead man thing, and when I'm going on Twitter and thing now, I'm seeing it where they reach the funeral, not the funeral home, they reach the church and all that, and they cause a real spectacle in the streets, of course. Because that had to be the first time they ever do anything like that in Trinidad. I see things like that before online. Like I remember one with a man who for his funeral, he in a Jordans with a PlayStation in the hand. He must nigger shit I ever see. You know, Jordans with a PlayStation in the hand and some Cheetos and some Sprite. And boy, listen, and this is how we go into the funeral. I don't even know how to say this right. You're going to your own funeral. So you go in sitting upright and you had to be in the church. Imagine you in the church now, you go on a funeral. Nobody don't tell you as a person who come to a funeral. It's not an invitation kind of thing in this country. You just go funeral. If you know the man, you pass through funeral. If I go and you sit down outside, I'm going back home. I just want everybody to know that when you die, you have the right to do whatever you want to do. But I want it to be known while you're still alive that if you are in anything else but a box, when I reach there, I'm leaving. If you're in any other position other than lying down, I'm gone. I don't want no part of it. But Stacey asking me now, what you think Father Gregory will do? Father Gregory, like friend of the family. What Father Gregory will do? I said, babe, Father Gregory ain't doing that funeral. You know? Knowing Father Gregory, the way I know Father Gregory, he is not doing that funeral. That funeral is over. He let it be known, listen, get somebody else to do this. And so it's so done apparently when they reach the church now and they try to bring the man in, the priest said, no. I'm not doing this. You can't bring this man in here. So what he supposed to do? Like, sit up. I wonder what was their plan. They was gonna put him like to sit down there like an altar boy. What was it? What was the situation? What was the plan? I'm trying to figure out what they wanted to do. Or what he supposed to do? Sit down and watch the congregation, or he was gonna face and watch the priest. These are things we had to try to figure out, because if I go in a funeral, I done funny with dead thing already. Yeah? I do like to watch people in casket. Sometimes I go in a church and it's funeral and they put the casket open by the front door. I just pass by the side door, you know. Me want to pass. I done funny passing too close to dead body. And I just get emotional when dead body is moving. You can't be moving. You see when you have to do pallbearer thing and thing, I just want to break down. So imagine you're in the church. Who was going and put him to face where? What is the plan? He go and face back the congregation to see who crying and who ain't crying and thing, and which woman show up and who ain't show up. I want to know. Or was he going to face the priest to get his blessing and all that? I want to know what is the plan. But anyway, the thing passed off, and what was nice about it is like it's like 3 young entrepreneurs. And if I ain't gonna lie, it was nice to see like 3 young black fellas just basically showing the enterprise, the entrepreneurship. Then they really was there to, and listen, the thing about it is everybody find this strange and who find it shouldn't be done and all this kind of thing. But what was nice to see was that these young fellas were so proud of what they did. Very, very proud of themselves. And they should be, because as business people and entrepreneurship, especially in these COVID times, I find it done so hard already to make money, to figure out, like people talking about pivoting, this, that, and the third. Them men say the funeral could cost anywhere between $45,000 and $60,000. That's a nice little bag for them fellas to pick up, and the man was proud. Like, let me play a clip from the interview so you can hear how proud these fellas was of the work.
Actually, it was a request from the family, and we went along with it. But our tagline for our funeral home is, every life is unique, therefore every funeral should be unique.
All right, wait. The man say, I want to laugh at this, but the way the man say tagline, like if it's conkles and thing, the man said, like if it's a new drink he bring out, the man say the tagline for the funeral. But anyway, listen.
We live up to that. We are a group of young people that are making a very different and a high impact in funeral industry. In this funeral industry, we are qualified funeral directors and embalmers, and we are just showing off our talent in which we could do. Funeral is not something to be sad about. You know, we show we showcase the person as how they would have been alive, how you would have remembered them alive, and that is all we are doing here today.
Okay, so here what? Showcase me how you remember me alive in pictures. It have a thing called Instagram, right? You showcase me on Instagram while I alive and on Facebook and these things. I see when I dead. Let me stay dead now. But hear my voice.
By having the deceased sitting in this chair and being carried around into the community that he would have been in, and due to his unfortunate death.
Now, you said that initially it was a request from the family. When you heard the request, and provided that it's something that you have never done before, what was the process? Did you have to go and research it? What was that process like?
So we have a list of things that we want to put out there to the public. This was one of the stuff on our list. So
wait, hold on. I don't run no funeral business, I'm being honest, but I guess like any other business, you had to have your strategy and do your meetings and things. But this man talking about this is something that this man is under 30 years old, and he talking about this is something we was thinking about putting out to the public. Why are you talking like if you're selling some kind of food or something?
We have done our homework way before the request, and we know exactly what to do. We know exactly how to embalm the deceased, exactly how to place him on the chair, and exactly how to put him in that position to stay there so that he'll have a sturdy drive and no slip, no slip or any mistakes would have happened on a day like today. And of course, shocking the public. I know the public is very amazed at this, what we have done.
Because I was going to ask you, what has the response been like from persons? I know you would have driven him through the streets before coming to the church. What has that response been like?
The response has been very good because we have, because people haven't seen this before, they are very inclined to it. Some people even call the funeral home and ask that if when they die, if they could be placed standing rather than sitting. Some call and say that they ride motorcycles and they're going to be placed on a motorcycle. So
wait, hold on. No, just taking how enthusiastic this youth man song. Yeah, I like that. I respect that because if you're in our business, especially young people, boy, to hear young people in our business and so passionate. And this is Alicia Boucher, TV6 report, right? So if you look for it on Twitter, Instagram, you'll find it. She did a great job with the interview too because she captured the passion that this man have for this thing. But I want to know who called. I want to know because I never went to a funeral and see, the deceased or whatsoever and say, good, this casket real nice, boy. Let me call and see which part. Who call and say they want to get standing up? I don't know what it's called it. They want to get, I don't know what it is. I don't know what to say if it's again buried standing up or your funeral. You want to stand up in your funeral. I find they should publish who doing this. If you planning as a friend of mine or somebody who I might end up in your funeral, if you planning to be standing up in your funeral, you just let me know now. You give me a heads up. When you send out your flyers or whatever you're sending out, because this is clearly an event. When you post your ads or your Instagram for your funeral, you just say, hey, I'll be, they say the body laying at XYZ place. Just tell me the body could be standing. One man say motorbike. You planning to die? Why are you planning to die on a motorbike? But he say when he's a rider, so whenever the thing, wherever his time come, he want to be placed on a motorbike. And this man sounding excited about putting this man on this motorbike,
And say it in a positive way.
But you've had one or two negative comments, right? What has that feedback been like?
The feedback is that not everyone accepts change, right? But change is inevitable. As I told you, we are young people, so we can't just go with what our grandfathers and our forefathers would have done before. So hence we are changing things around, right? And we have plenty more things.
Were people scared at all?
People wasn't scared. I just think some people were just very surprised. They are very surprised of the manner in which it is done. Yeah. I think people are more curious as to how he's staying there without moving. People are more curious to that rather than being scared of the deceased. A gentleman even came to the funeral today and was asking where the deceased is. When he saw the deceased, he was rather surprised.
You're happy this youth man. So I didn't know that people who run in a funeral home could be this enthusiastic about it. I guess when you in your personal life, when you're around that is always a sad thing and a somber and reverent thing. But to hear how happy he is, and listen, you had to find this clip with Alicia Boucher doing this interview because this youth man is beaming with pride over this thing. You say a man coming in thing, he asking where the dead. And the dead sit down next to him. The dead could have been a pew.
Who is the embalmer?
Right, Nathaniel, Dennie, and myself are the embalmers.
Salute Nathaniel, Dennie, and yourself.
All right. So can you then give me an idea of the embalming process? How does this differ from what you would normally do?
Yeah, listen to this.
So to embalming someone just means preserving the person using embalming fluid and replacing that fluid with other fluid, replacing that with the blood in the system of their body. The only difference is that would have changed in embalming the deceased is that we'd have to set him in a particular position before embalming, right? He would have been embalmed over a period of 2 days, and he would have been in that position for about 4 days before today.
Let me just document this here now, right? Just as we're doing this, and I publishing podcasts that will be there forever. Hopefully long after I go on, they will be still available to listen to. Please, whoever responsible for me when I looking to head out of here, don't let nobody put me in no position for no 2 days and no 4. Get me out of here. You dig? Whatever happened, just get me out of here. Whenever I ready to roll anytime. So just get me out of Dodge. I don't want to sit down. I want to go in a box. I want to lie down, bury me, burn me, do whatever all you want to do. But don't put me no shades. And you had to trim and mark me. Whatever's the last trim I had, don't trim me no more. I was supposed to go that way. If I didn't shave and thing, that is it. That is how I was supposed to go. Don't let nobody put me in no position and all these kind of things. I don't want that.
What happens after the service in terms of burial
good question.
or cremation? What
Yeah, because I want to know if he getting buried sitting down, all I studying is, but how they go lower him down in the hole, what is the plan?
So after the service, we are heading to the Diego Martin Public Cemetery for burial.
Hey, I know they was from Dago, I sure it's a La Puerta scene. I tell Stacey from the time I see it, I said that song in kind of La Puerta-ish.
And he'll be placed in his casket there. There will be no issues in placing him in his casket because he will lie flat because we embalm him in such a manner that his legs are free to movement.
Okay.
What? Alright, I'm done. Salute to my guys. They do a great job. I think the name of the funeral home was Dennie's Funeral Home. And them youth men doing a real good job. I can't imagine. Like, I don't know how any of this is work. But when he say they had to put him in a position, I just keep thinking of these people down in a whole barrel of embalming fluid, holding this man up. I don't know how any of this is work, but I couldn't get the image out of my mind where they have him in a whole pool full of embalming fluid, sit down trying to hold him in that position for 2 or 3 days. But anyway, the men do a good job. The men very proud of the job that they do. And salute to anybody who figures something out in these hard COVID times. But what I could tell you is Zessers is brainstorming at the moment. You see, right now, Zessers is brainstorming as to what to do if they was to meet her early or late demise. The things is happening. Here the man say somebody call and say they want to go stand up on a bike. Brainstorming is happening. Somebody wants to be in a Zest movement. Like they say here what? Put me in a position like a now lick a shot and just rinse out Zest music anything so that I could be looking like a thing. Like this done do a 24-hour Zest party when certain men go, like you remember Dole funeral. Listen, when Denny's get a hold of somebody to put in a Zest to stand up for 24 hours, it could go any direction. Like Hennessy go sell. It have plenty of things go be involved there. So Denny's have some work to do. As the men say, they collecting a good raise. So they have plenty ideas to come their way. And I started studying for myself now because I want to go just so but when I say if this thing is an option, like I say 45 to 60,000, so I got to put up my money up front. I ain't trying to put nobody in no expense. But maybe if they put me in a humor short pants, as a man like my short pants for carnival, So if they could do a carnival embalming where in these modern times it must have something could make your waist move because here the man say your knee still swinging. It must have something Denny's could do to make your waist move. So I could make it look like if I chip in her. And my waist moving. Me had too much of waist movement when I'm alive, but dead. So they could move it. They could give me a wire waist. They could give me a little snake oil waist on my death and put me in my little humor short pants. And like they could do the funeral on the Savannah stage too. And let me take, maybe the Savannah stage is not the best place for me. I just be burning. But if they let me pass the Savannah stage and hear what they had to do. I'm trying to change my mind as a brainstorming here. Carry me on the Savannah stage, put the motor thing in me, let me wind my waist, and you could put Alexa in it. So you could just say, Alexa, play Carnival Baby. And then I could my waist go start to move. It's vibes in the funeral. And if it have anybody else dead, like a woman dead around that time, so you could push it too and let me take a jam. Whoever dead that day are paying for all them funeral. And we just jam across this, a whole dead jam. It's like a carnival. People could take it in. We can't get COVID again. We dead. We could just jam on another on the stage and bring me back. Let me cross the stage 2-3 times like Wise usually do and put some dead security. I could push through them and bust out. And what they could do too, like just like carnival, put me in the full costume. And then when I come off the stage, just like I usually do, because the man said the point of the thing is to make you get celebrated like how you get celebrated in life. So what they could do is when I come off the stage about the 5th time, throw away all my piece of costume. If it have any little dead spectators, we could throw that for them and just have a whole dead festival. Right? If we're doing it, we're doing it. Or I could do it too if that might be expensive. Because it's 45 to 60 just to pay to sit down, that millions of dollars we're talking about. What they could do for me? You could put me in a chair like dude, Put me in a chair and a table, like if I'm working. You know, put me behind a desk like I'm still working or something. But give me a little mechanical arm. Just the arm mechanical. And they could put a little motion sensor from it. Just put me outside the church too, because no Father Gregory go do it if it's inside. Put me outside the church, right? And you see like how they say that man was asking which part he dead is? Where you could do when you put me outside the church, you give me the mechanical arm and the motion sensor. So anybody pass, I just extending a hand for a handshake. I just want to see people kick out of that funeral. Listen, if they could make the leg swing, the man say leg swing in the barrier to put it down in the box, right? They must be able to put a little thing for my arm to extend a little handshake. Why people mustn't be able to get a little last handshake before you head out to this place? And why not? If we're going out to that bang. If it's 45 to 50,000 to pay to sit down, it can't be much more than that. Maybe I'll pay extra 10,000 to be able to shake people hand on the way out or wave. Like if the church close to the road and thing, I sit down there and I wave. Put me on the back of the van, I go wave to whoever driving behind me too. It's one of them things. But one of the funniest things I read about that too. God bless the dead. I ain't laughing at the dead. They're serious matters. But one of the funniest things I see coming out of that is the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I don't like, we can't stop talking about the police. It's the greatest thing. Hear what they say on the police in the report now. The report say, I believe this was in the Newsday. It could have been the Express. I see in the quote in TV6, probably the Express. They say the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is disappointed by reckless behavior engaged in by a funeral home being circulated on social media, whereby persons were seen seated in the vehicle tray, seemingly as part of a funeral procession. They went on to say, carrying persons in a dangerous manner is an offense under regulation, this, that, and $1,000 TTPS. The man dead. Who only was going to, I guess they're going to charge the man who was carrying him, but what did TTPS make a statement about this for? What is he plan? Only plan to shut down these kind of funerals? Or they could have just not say nothing, no. But I guess they want to charge you to youth men for carrying anything. But youths only do anything. I like to see youths do things and progress and make good money. Yes, and I mean, I ain't know what the police are about. The same police who talking about this. I see a thing where a little thing, a little clip showing you one set of guns. I don't know, get frightened. Them men look like they get one set of guns, boy, in the back of a tree. And they're throwing them down and the police telling one another, yeah, boy, we make a big bust. Look how we come through. I can't believe this is a real story. Like, after I hear this part, I'm going to tell all you about come out. I went back to that original video to see. I said the police must have been joking, man. This couldn't be serious. But apparently, a fella come out after that. It was just a little short video clip showing police celebrating a big gun, a bust of a bunch of guns. High-powered military-looking weapons. Thing to frighten man like me who don't know nothing. And then, maybe just the same day later on the day, somebody showing a video showing that all the props for the little music videos and the movies and thing, which all the police know is props, is what they seize. And listen, the video showing the exact same guns that the police was celebrating. When the man started to pick them up, he said, look at this, plastic. They're going with all the props. And he said one of the police keep one of the props for your personal use. Like he keep that for himself and we need the prop back for continuity. And I think it's myself. This can't be real. This can't be, this had to be a joke. I tell myself, well, the original video can't be real. Because how police could pick up a bunch of plastic guns? You train and you know about gun. You there to protect and to serve. How it is you pick up this bunch of plastic guns and tell yourself this real and celebrating a bus and videotape it to put it on Instagram and let the whole world see. And I think it's myself, but what is going on? And only take one. So the man who take one and keep for himself is because he like props or he thought that was a gun. This is very, very worrying. I couldn't believe it. But when you go back to it, you had to tell yourself it's real because the way they're calling up one another name and thing and they had literally seized the guns, but I don't know. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, like they know it was plastic. But the fellas who doing the movie saying that police had told them about it before, because the things, I guess, if it's for a movie, it had to be realistic to make the movie good enough. And I guess the police had told them that when you're doing things, check in with the nearest police station and let them know to avoid incidents like these. But boy, that was just one of them things. I think all this studying this man in this funeral home, let these youth men live here, let these youth men do what they have to do. Right? And then instead of paying attention to things like that, go on a little gun course. Like, figure out what you're supposed to really arrest people for and what a real gun is feel like and thing. Because the first thing I tell myself is, like a shipment coming from Venezuela is like, I was frightened, but it's all plastic, so I guess we're safe again in Trinidad. Now, talking about Venezuela, to get a little serious for a minute. Seeing that thing, now there was a story circulating last week about Venezuelans getting deported. Illegal immigrants, right? I understand what that is, and that's what's happened to illegal immigrants all over the world, but Trinidad is my concern, right? And to be honest with you, I didn't like it. Now, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Venezuelans and whether they should be here and whether they should, what they come here to do and this, that, and the third. And I have a little bit of a different view. Firstly, I don't believe in the concept of borders at all. I find the thing is contrived, is stupid. It is man-made and is money-driven and capitalist-driven. Why they must have borders between one country and the next? Because Trinidad's small, we don't really just study the concept too much. So think of you living in town and you cannot go south without a visa. It is a stupid concept. I hope we end up in a world where all those things disappear. So you can't enter a next country without the permission. The whole idea of one country versus the next is foolish to me. But it's very, very real to a place like Trinidad where we bordered only by water. It have no like what is call it now? Terrestrial borders. There are no borders on the land in Trinidad, right? So anytime you leave, you either leave by sea or you either leave by air. It's not like you're driving or you're walking across the one area that you can't go. Or if you want to think how stupid it is, look at how Haiti and Dominican Republic is as two countries where one suffering and starving and having all these types of issues, and right on the next side of the border they have some hope and business and things at least operating at a higher level. It's like, what was the rationale? Why is that sensible? Why do we do that? Why do we accept that? But in a country where you're surrounded by water, it's easy to see how you're separate from the rest of the world, or easy to fool yourself into thinking you're separate from the rest of the world. But I think it's foolishness, to be honest. So you have to understand that I believe in a borderless world. But having said that, the issue of immigration is one where it exposes, and I said it when they first started, a lot of Venezuelans started coming here in large numbers, and we would all remember the times when they had to line up to get some kind of, I don't know if it was citizenship or regularization card or something that allowed them to stay without too much problems. And I remember people going to Tobago. I'll never forget the one in Tobago, because there was a fellow they showed on the news who didn't get through, and he stopped to tell, like, he could talk a little English, and he stopped to tell the news reporters, thanks so much. You know, he try and he understand the process is the process, and they can't take everybody, but he loved Trinidad and Tobago, and he grateful for how people treat him, and that kind of stood out to me. And you know, that time I was in Tobago too, I went to this little pizza place. I want to say it's La Cantina, but I'm not sure. A little pizza place just in, what's the airport name? Like Crown Point area. When you leave Crown Point and they have the Big Ben there. Like if you want to head to Pigeon Point, they have a lot of food places and things on that strip. And it was in the height of the ISU as well. And we just went and buy pizza and stuff, and we were sitting down outside waiting for them to bring the pizza. And I saw a woman and a young boy, clearly Venezuelans, right? When you listen to them and stuff. But the young boy must be 20, 21, a young man then, and his mother. And they came and she sat down there and like they ordered something to eat, and he was telling her, you say, Moms, listen, I had to run, I had to get to work, you know what I mean? I'm running a little late, so I ain't go bother to wait for the pizza. I'll catch up with you later. You go ahead and eat something and go home, reach home safe, love you. And listen, that's, for some reason, that real stick with me, boy, because to me, that is just life. That's just how it is. That's just how life goes. Whatever circumstances you're in, you're trying to find ways to feed your family and stay close to your loved ones and just be appreciated and appreciate people and appreciate where you are. And to me, like, maybe it stood out for me, like, it's a real random story, right? But the reason it stood out for me is because it was just normal. It was just if it was two Trinidadians there or two Tobagonians who doing that, I would not think nothing. I might not even listen to the conversation because it's just people living their life like I was doing while I was there. And why people mustn't live their life? This is a real odd concept to me. This notion of send back immigrants from wherever that will never sit right for me. I don't like it when a youth man and God bless Wayne Chance. I had the opportunity to meet Wayne Chance one time when I was working TSCC, and he came to get his phone installed, and I started to understand what his vision and mission, and well, I was a little frightened to it because he talked a little aggressive, but I'll never forget that either. Like, him being as passionate as he was about helping prisoners like get back into the society. I forget the word that they use, like help them get back into the mix and get back as normal members of society after having been in jail, number one, and abroad. Some of them born and grew up in the States or went to the States when they were very, very small. I guess if you're born there, they can't deport you. But if you went there when you were very small, like let's say you went there as a baby, your whole life, is in the States, you don't know nobody down here, you don't know your family and stuff. And all of a sudden, you commit a crime and you're deported, and now you had to figure life out here with people who might be strangers to you and no support system or nothing. And more than that, you can't go back. Or I think when you get deported, you have 10 years, and after 10 years, you could reapply. And you think about how likely it is for us as Trinidadians who commit a crime to be able to get back to the States. Same with Jamaicans, same with everybody in Guyana. You're not going to get to go back. So it's strange for me, for a country who deals with all these things with the States, and see how unfair it is. I'll never forget seeing how many people have to line up in the weather in Jamaica to do interviews. Such a inhumane and demeaning and undignifying thing. So you line up outside, like what we do, right? In Trinidad, you line up outside the embassy, but eventually we go in and you get to sit down and you wait, and then they call your name and you go by a window, right? Which I also find to be indignifying, if that's the right way of saying that. Because somebody is asking you questions. I remember the last time I went for an interview by the embassy. One of the last times I went with Stacy and Zachary at the time, and at that time Stacy didn't have her visa. But every time I apply for a visa, I guess my mother and them had organized that when I was small, and it was the same thing with Stacy, but she had never traveled on the visa. So I think, well, number one, you had a visa before. Number two, I never really get blank, so I not that now in my mind at all. And we go in together. So if I gain back mine and I applying for you and Zachary, I think all you're gonna get through. Now we ain't married, we common law, and we have documents showing we common law and things. So I work with everything. And I halfway sleeping, Zachary just sleep, and he on my shoulder, I there by the window. And this woman is asking questions, I find personally, in a very condescending way. Like, if I was talking to her regularly on the street, I didn't need anything from her. I wasn't trying to get a visa approved or anything like that. I wouldn't hang around long, is what I'm saying, if she's talking to me like that. I go on. Because I find you're talking down to me, and it's condescending and borderline disrespectful. The way asking me these kind of questions. Nobody can talk I wouldn't let nobody talk to me like that, but we're there for a purpose, right? So she asking Stacey the questions and things, and much to my surprise, she say, okay, at this time you don't meet the requirements. So I say, what? I was like, why? No, they don't have to answer you why or not, no? They have no explanation for you. We pay $1,000 or whatever the thing is. I was real vexed. I was like, what? I don't understand what you're telling me. What is the reason? And she said, we eating. I said, but I have a visa. I never went anywhere and overstayed the time. And she with me. We have a thing. And then they say they can't recognize common law marriage and this and that and the other. I find it was so archaic and disrespectful and stupid. And then she went on to tell me, well, if you want to apply for your son still, you could go ahead and do it. And I said, no. And at the same time, I say no, Stacey say, yeah, babe, do it. We done pay for it already. And it makes sense, eh? But at that point, I went back my documents and I want to get the hell out. I was upset. I was mad. Big mad. And Stacey said, go ahead. So I say, all right. Because apparently, because he's my son, I could, I guess my things or whatever I work with, work on his behalf. No, me and walk no big set of thing, because remember Stacey and Zachary applying for the visa, so I ain't walk with no big set of documents or nothing like that. I just went ahead and I kind of walk with, well, Stacey had everything, so me ain't studying nothing and I ain't studying nobody getting blank and thing. So she go ahead and ask me now, when is the last time I went to the States? I say, Stacey, when is the last time I went to the States, girl? Stacey tell her. She say, how long you stay? I say, babe, how long I stay, girl? Stacey tell her. I have no documents to prove any of this, you know. And then she must say, she never asked about bank statement, about none of them things. And she say, okay, he's approved. So I look at her like, listen, this making sense. I say, look, so the mother can't go in the States. I kind of want to ask her. So if I carry Zachary and I do bring him back, that is it? She will never be able to see her son again. If it was that kind of situation, but still, I'm going to ask that. But that was my initial thoughts. I was like, this boy, I talk about Zachary is a newborn, you know. So I thinking, like, who you want to travel with him? You want him to travel without his mother? What kind of process is this? And then the next time we went back, well, now we say we engage. We ain't no way engage. Just Stacey get a ring, borrow, and take. Oh, God, I shouldn't be saying this. Scratch that. That never happened, right? But wherever we went back with, we went and say whatever we had to say. And you know, this woman asking me, are you all engaged for the purpose of immigration? And I was like, what kind of question is that? Why would you say that? I said, why would we get engaged for immigration purposes? Or lying like you love. But I was upset too. I was like, what do you mean? And you know, they grant us the visa, and I say, look at this. These situations, it better you lie than you tell the truth. But I don't know how I reached quite. I was talking about Jamaica and their process. We go inside and do the interview, but what I don't like about the interview is that everybody who in that room had to be hearing things you're saying. So if you're calling out my salary or if I own property or not, or what I want to go in the States for, other people could hear. Now picture that same process, but in Jamaica, you're doing all of that on the pavement. The window to do the interview is on the outside of the building. So you're walking up to the outside of the building when they call you. You're waiting outside in the rain or sun or whatever they have. And then you're walking up to the outside of the building now to do this thing. And you have to shout because they may hear you and a mic answering back. I hope it changed now. I hope it's not like that. But that's how it was when I was there. What kind of process is that? And that's taking a long time to get to the point here. But the point I'm trying to make is that for people who go through things like this and find it so disrespectful, and people who not from here or who from here on behalf of the American government, quote unquote, telling you what you could do and what you can't do in this manner. Like if you're begging them to go somewhere, your visa get blank, you cannot get back your money. No part of it. A processing fee that must be $1,000 or must be $1,200 by now. I literally see a time I was in the embassy, and you know they have this security who working there. He working in the embassy as a security guard. And when I see the name call and I see him go up to the window, I thought he was going to tell the lady something. Not knowing he working there, and he had to interview just like everybody else, following the same process while he on duty. And you know they blank that man. It's like, what you feel, what I feel the country is, that they like somebody need them or somebody begging them to go somewhere. That thing is annoying me so much. So I find it real strange, this hard stance that Trinidadians take as people against people from other countries or against immigrants. Because we know what that feels like. And I think, you know, if you feel how embarrassing and how humiliating and inhumane and indignifying that process is, how you could then turn around and treat somebody worse than that. And I'm talking not just about the authorities. I forget the authorities, because that deporting people on a pirogue, I don't even want to get into that. I can't understand. That's embarrassing for us as a country. Whether they were right and I will never find that they're right to be deported because I don't believe in the process. But if by law they're supposed to be deported, I'm thinking, what is that about? Why is it a pirogue and a woman and little children had to be on a pirogue going all the way back to Venezuela? I can't imagine how frightening that is. Yes, a lot of them take big chances to come here and think, but if there's an official deportation process, a pirogue can be it. Especially when they were supposed to be in court the next day. They do it before the court hearing was done. A magistrate had to tell them come back. I want to know who went and catch the pirogue. Like, what is in a helicopter to give them a hand signal to know to come back? That something in adding up about that whole story. But even if you don't take that, forget the authorities on what they're doing, right? I'm talking to us as citizens, people who here every day. Like, this is how we really feel. Given what we go through in the embassy and what we go through in the States and people getting deported, or you have your aunts who go in the States and living there and not legal and gone, it's you know what I mean? Figure something out, do some babysitting, you're cleaning, whatever you have to do to figure life out and make a little betterment for yourself. We feel this way about how, this is the way we feel about immigration, or is it that we just feel we should go wherever and be treated fairly, but we should treat anybody else who feel like they could come here in the land of milk and honey, we should treat them like poorly. Treat them however. They don't matter. They are not real people. Them is not real children. Them Spanish and them only come here to do one thing. Everybody, all of them is prostitutes, so we don't want them here. And I'm thinking to myself, in a time where we, like the oil and gas thing starting to, well, we reach a point where that dwindling in production and in price. Both of them go down. And how come humans not seen as a resource again? Like all these HR people who like to talk about human resource. Where are you all now? How come, where's Hermat? Hermat and these people, they're not talking about how valuable additional people in our workforce could be to a growing economy. Where's everybody? Where are all the artists in this country? Because a big part of the thing with artists is you had to be able to sell copies, this, that, and you don't have enough people in the country. Only have 1 million. What about them? They're not thinking like if the population grow, they have a better chance. Well, the promoters who now could go from events of 10,000 people to 20,000 or 30,000 people to make more money. Nobody in speaking for this. I understand all the arguments against it, right? But where are the people who speaking for this? Like the humans, like adding more people in Trinidad and Tobago could be a benefit. Increasing the population of Trinidad and Tobago could be beneficial. Why we have to look at all the people who come in here as if they're coming to take something from us? Why we can't look at them as if they're coming to give something? Look at the work ethic. And I'm sure Americans who talking about immigration or for immigration is telling you about the work ethic of Caribbean people when they go there, or Mexicans, you hear a lot about them. But look at the work ethic you see in Venezuelans when they come here. My little brother very, very involved in the Venezuelan community, and when you see the kind of work, and his partner we talking to, the man is a copywriter in an ad agency in Trinidad. He writing in English, first language is Spanish, and he's a copywriter. So it's not like if we just when you're feeling xenophobic or you don't like this one and you don't like them Venny and this. Just think about my little story about the pizza place. Now, the man coming there with his mother and all he doing is telling the mother, boy, I'm going to work. I'm late for work. I'm going to run out once a week. This is just normal life. It's normal people who going to come and do. It's not a bunch of people who everybody coming to rob or everybody coming to prostitute themselves. And I'm not sure that viewpoint is a hell of a thing to me. And what make that story worse in terms of the optics of it is that it's little children. And I understand all the economic thing because it's easy to say they come in to take. You know, people don't mind being charitable. Like we don't mind helping other people, but we kind of like to help if it's not affecting us. So it's almost like you're willing to help people if you have real plenty extra. It has to be way plenty in excess that you have and you're willing to give away some. But I mean, so people need help, Dread. What will happen if Trinidad end up like that? How you feel going to our next country and people watching your wife and saying she's a hoe, all them Trinidadians all days come and do, all them is hoes. And I mean, Jesus, I don't know, but I just have a different view of the world that that's concerned on. When it comes to children, it's even worse. And like children, it didn't just stop in the Venezuelan news because, I mean, almost the day after that, I come and I see something saying they're trying to think about sex education in primary school. And the Mahasabha was as well against it and saying, boy, listen, I was talking to some fellas in the community here by me the other morning about this. And my philosophy is this, right? Y'all know already what I feel about certain topics and trends. That certain things is taboo in this country, and me treating them like taboo. Now I go and talk about all of them. And incest is one of them things. We can't continue to pretend like we're not living in a culture where incest is a big part of what we do. This is a big part of our society. I want to say, go as far to say it's part of the culture. And we had to figure out how to get past that because we can't just bury our head in the sand. And I'm thinking like sex education is one of the ways that we could start shedding light on this situation. Because if you treat sex like taboo, where nobody can say nothing, boy, listen, how you expect children to come out and tell their parents if something wrong happened to them if this subject is such taboo that they can't even raise it? I think you should start sex education from preschool, if I had my way. No, I'm not saying to go and tell the children about how to raw dog it and things. You can't, I mean, come on. What I'm saying is, from preschool, include it as part of what you tell children, how to call the private parts, what is appropriate touch. We're not inventing this, like this being done in several places all over the world where it's different stages, you learn different things, because people could say what they want about the age for consent and things. You see, the age of consent is one thing, but the age where your body starts to change and feel a certain way and want certain things is long before the age of consent, you know. So people might feel thing about 18, and yes, 18 is the, but I want you to tell me when you start to feel sweet in your life. It wasn't no 18. It wasn't no 18. You're feeling sweet a long time. So the thing about it is, if we educate children enough to know that this is the way your body will feel, your body will start to feel so 12 and thing, you will start to have feelings even before that for some people, young. And different types of feelings and different levels of feelings, of course. But at any age, let me teach them in a way where they know it's not no shame. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's something you could come and tell your mother about. Just like if your hand hurts, or your elbow hurts, you have a headache. You could tell your parents how you feel, how you think. You know what I mean? Because if we break down them little shame barriers and them taboo barriers, you might find out what uncle is doing. And then he could address it. So I am left to think that anybody who is reasonable, level-headed, educated, whatever you want to call it, anybody who against little children learning about sex and whatever version of sex that is, your body and how it feels, or what you name private parts, or how to point certain things out, and anybody who against that, I feel they have an ulterior motive. I feel they have a vested interest in keeping children head buried in the sand and keeping adults and children separate. Well, you think about the stories you hear, and I'm going to address all of them, and I'm going to get people to come here and talk about their experiences. Where they're telling you, don't tell them nothing. Because if don't tell them what this do you, because if you tell them, I go do your sister too. And man telling two sisters, big hardback man telling two sisters. You read these stories, you pick up the papers, pick up any random papers, and you'll hear stories about grown men and little children. And I don't want to make it a man versus woman thing either. Because, I guess because of what women go through and stuff with menstruation, and like you almost have to talk to little girls about their body and those types of things because of changes that will happen to them. So women end up getting a little more in touch with them things than men. Men don't talk about it at all. men don't talk about nothing. Men, I guilty to me and saying I better off than nobody. I go try my best with Zachary to tell him certain things, but I remember two things, right? I remember a day I driving Zachary home from school. And this man, I wonder if I was just talking about this on this podcast before. This man, teacher, have a daughter. Maybe a couple standards higher than him, right? He must be in first year. And the girl done in standard 1 or whatsoever. I used to pick him up from school at San Fernando Boys, and I driving home. And you know how it is. You're taking that, you're a long day at work. Then you had to go in this primary school, all these little children running about, all them looking the same, they smelling bad. It's a hell of a thing to pick up your children from school. But I pick him up and I get him in the cans and so settling down after a long day and taking the traffic before I could reach home. And this man said, Daddy, I have something to tell you. So I all ears now, I say, what's going on? He say, I think I'm in love. This man is in first year, He say, I think I'm in love. I say, Zachary, you in love with who? Because I trying my best not to think. I feel every emotion at time. I feel sad, vexed, happy. I feel so, I get emotional. So I settle myself down. I say, you in love with who? He say, with the teacher daughter. I said, nigga, you didn't want to tell the woman you... I lost all reason. Listen, I'm not so good at this father thing. I lost all reason. I was like, hey, you didn't want to tell the girl you're in love with a boy. That man say, I know you would have react this way. But I was so mad. I was so, like, come home and I was like, boy, you can't be going telling people you're in love. You crazy. You trying to put me, boy, that man real cry. He was so sad. I had to settle myself and try to figure out. I don't know what to do with my first child, so me know what to do when a child tell you. But I just that's to show how bad. Like fathers and boys, we don't really talk about certain things like your body parts, and I tell you what to do on your penis, and you hear that kind of thing. I don't want to have that kind of talk with no man. I don't want to talk about that with my father, and I don't want to talk about it with my son. I will do it, I will look on YouTube and see how you're supposed to have that talk and thing. But I remember that time, my father. My father decided he go and talk to me about sex. Boy, so I done vex already. Me want to talk to you. I done a teenager. I probably done had girls already. This man coming to tell me about sex now. I vex like hell. Now, my father is a special kind of guy. Because the first time he tried to tell me about it, and no doubt, something must go wrong and my mother must tell him what it is doing and what it is going on and things. So he decided he had to come in. He had to intervene. This man decided we were going on a beach a day. He decided when he dropping me home from the beach is the best time to talk about this. But he dropping me home in his Speedo. Boy, I so uncomfortable. I only think to myself, why does man have on this Speedos? Why do I watch him clean out the next window? Me want to watch it. And I can't remember nothing he tell me. But he trying to tell me about sex and thing. I thinking, Jed, why you don't put on pants? Why I had to be going through this? Why is this my life? And then the next time too, we home this time. I don't know why it has happened, but this time I'm surely older. And I'm surely having sex at this time. I'm sure. And then that man decided to give me the talk now. This is not the first talk about what sex is and reproduction and all of that. This is about... He must be here running a while and he decided to try and save my soul. So this man bring me, I staying down by him. I used to have, where he was living at the time, I'm a little bedroom. I stay when I there and thing. And that man come in the bedroom and sit down next to me, uncomfortably close, very close on the bed. And that man started telling me about rubbers and using protection and what could happen and HIV and it's not just HIV, it have so much other diseases and boy, I mad. I boiling. I was like, boy, why I come here? I should just stay by my mother. What you coming to tell me about this for? And then he started talking about using protection and pregnancy and what you don't want and your life and boy, when I think the talk done and everything settled and I could go my way, that man say, but I want you to, okay, give me some rubbers, where you say I want you to understand how these things not 100% and they could burst. So that man take out that rubbers to show me. That man take out the rubbers, take out one of the pack to show me how it is work and how to roll it on. But he want to show me how it is burst, boy. That man fight up with our rubbers to burst our rubbers. He have it in his hand and that man literally going listening to him busting around. So I want to jump out the window, but I want to commit suicide. I say I want to die. I rather die than listen to this conversation. That man take about half hour to burst that rubbers in them. You want to see, he's stretching it out with the two hands. If you see how wide that thing stretching, that thing wouldn't burst at all. I feel like I want to get a knife and I don't bust that rubbers or cut my throat. I say, but wait, why this is my life? And eventually when it busts here and all is like, I'll take a lot to bust boy. Hey. Hey, teach you try sex education. Teach you try sex education. Don't let the man hear from the father in speedos trying to bust rubbers. That's the moral of that story, right? Teach them sex education. So I don't know what else on this list, but I don't know what the hell else I'm supposed to talk about. This episode going on like forever. We talk about the dead man. Oh, you know what? As we talk dead man on a serious note, salute to Diego Armando Maradona, the greatest footballer who ever lived. I know Pele is the top guy, but I mean, in my youngest days watching football, Maradona is why I like Argentina. Everybody in Trinidad like Brazil. I always trying to back the other guy. And Maradona was a special dude, right? And to see him pass away, and it's so funny, we were talking about that taxidermy thing and the whole funeral home thing a little while ago. And I don't know if people had followed this story, but Maradona come and pass away. They say it was a heart attack and thing. And I mean, he had his struggles, you know what I mean, with drugs and all that. So when I heard it, I tell myself, well, it's probably an overdose. But they say it was a heart attack. But to show you the love and the kind of godlike status they had for him, somebody in the funeral home decided to take a selfie with Maradona, like pose up by the funeral, and then men take some videos and show you the man body in the casket. You know, they killed two of the men. They say Boca Juniors or the team he used to play for, or his biggest fans, I suppose. Hunt down the men and killed two of the men. It was three of them. They killed two and one in critical condition. Get beaten so bad. It's sad. But as this is just to show you the kind of status this give these men, especially in South America, you know, they look at him like a king. I mean, he was a king. And it's Diego Maradona live a full life, yes, a full life. And I mean, one of the greatest footballers we ever see, one of the greatest in our time. And just salute to him. But as an Argentina fan, he's the man responsible for me feeling so much of pain in so much different World Cup now, where Argentina they just can't seem to get it together. Now, talking about pain. They have a place in this country. Now, I tried my best not to talk about business here too much because I don't like putting a damper on nobody's business. And the business environment in Trinidad is a funny place where you can't call too much name or too much people, them think of that backlash. But today I had to talk a little bit about our business, right? Now, I mean, you know, I'm from St. James, right? And I was living in San Fernando for a long time. Maybe, when I say a long time, maybe I must spend about 5 years living in South, a good little while. And I end up getting this place in Chaguanas and start building and thing, right? So if anybody don't know anything about building a house, it's one of the hardest things to do, if you ask me. You're up and down the road, you have to be on site. Sometimes you're looking at work people do, you don't know the work they're doing. So, in other words, if you don't know nothing about building, it's looking like they're progressing, but you ain't seeing some of the problems that somebody who are accustomed to construction will be seeing. So, because of that, I coming from Sando, I coming from work all hours of the day, all hours of the night, coming to come up here, supervise workers, pay people, this and that. And I don't really know, and I ain't no Chaguanas, man. So, it's not like I'm in town or in South where I have somewhere I could go. So, plenty of my time while I was building the house was spent in Price Plaza, right? So, between Price Plaza and where I live now, they have a place called Bakery Treatz. It's the greatest place on earth. Because I personally like a little pie. A little cheese pie, potato pie, quiche. I like flour a lot. A little coconut drop, currants roll. I like these things. A fat man dream. So when you're leaving Price Plaza now to come into Chaguanas, you're passing Bakery Treatz all the time. So I used to just pull in there quick grab something to eat. So that I could, them they on the road looking for it. So I had to drive and eat, right? So I will pass in bakery treats, pick up whatever they have, eat that on the way. And I want to say this, right? I have never bought anything in bakery treats that didn't come out of a pack manufactured by somebody else that tastes good. Nothing. I've never tasted anything good by bakery treats. And when I say not tasting good, it's not like you're eating a cheese pie and it's not your flavor, like, you're the prefer. I'm talking about it barely edible. Cheese pie, tuna puff, quiche. You order anything and it's not edible. It barely, you can't eat it. And I myself, like a fool, it take me about 5 or 6 times going there because and you run a hustling a thing, right? Bakery treats right there, okay? And keep in mind, so they're selling juice, water, all the different things that in a pack there. You could get coffee, everything. But it don't matter what I buy. Nothing not tasting good. I don't know how to get this point across. Everything bad. The cheese pie tasting like it's an iron ore, like they make it with bauxite. It's bad. So it take me a little minute, but I eventually say I ain't going back there again. But I never hear about the place before. I don't know the people. I don't know the place. I just was passing there because they have a big sign. I think it's what is called the Rodney Road. They have a big sign on a prominent location and things. So it's very, very convenient to stop off there if you need to get anything. And I mean, I take a while before I realize like it's not to go there. But I didn't know that this was universally accepted that they are terrible until the stories start coming out on Facebook. And I was told to my guy Sean Fuentes, who's work at he used to work at CONCACAF and TTFA at the time. And he's the first person who I saw under somebody complaining about bakery treats, like they had made a post about something. And he was the first person I see post, I've never had anything there that tastes good. And then like it ended up being a flurry, and that was some years ago. And I was like, yeah, dude, that I don't know what it is, but that place is terrible. So lo and behold, in the news this week, somebody put out a thing where they basically check in, they get their, was it a wedding cake? I think it was a 2-tier wedding cake from Bakery Treats. And listen, this is one of the worst things I ever see. I ain't talking about how it tastes now. I'm just talking about how it look. The thing looking bad. It looking terrible. It lean, that was dangerous lean. And the people basically saying that they ordered the cake from Bakery Treats and tell them the time they needed to have it and saying the cake was running late. That's number one. The time they needed it. Now let me read what they post, right? They say, somebody come see this real quick. Against our better judgment, we ordered a $2,200 wedding cake from Bakery Treats. Now, I don't know what's the better judgment, huh? Because I know what you need again. People, I guess they have a big name. And some big boys use them and thing before. So people feeling like Bakery Treats is an option. I don't know why. But they say, yes, people, $2,200. The cake was supposed to be delivered at the reception venue for 10 a.m. After 12 p.m., we got a call from a friend, not Bakery Treats, stating that the delivery driver was driving bad and the cake fell over. He said, y'all, I can't make this up. They tried to deliver the cake as though everything was normal and we just pretend as though it's not crumbs on our plate. They say, well, after a few back and forth phone calls and a good proper cuss out, they offered to make a brand new cake and have it delivered by 4 a.m. Mind you, the reception starting at 2. Now, that's real embarrassing. I mean, a wedding, something about wedding and cake. I like cake. But a wedding and it's no cake, you had to skip the whole cake sticking part. You know, the cake is be such a nice thing to see as part of the decor of the wedding. But anyway, as for the $2,200, they said they can't issue a full refund because it's as though they baked 2 cakes. So the reception going on after 7 and the cake ain't reached yet. This is the cake they promised at 4, right? This cake ain't reached yet. They say about 10 long speeches later, the cake finally arrives minutes to 8 and surprise is bullshit in a box. The driver throws down the cake again. We called Michelle, who's the owner, I guess. And sis claims she didn't know anything about the cake, I guess. Imagine this is supposed to be one of the most important days of your life. You didn't know it was the most important day of your life before you called bakery anyway. And you have to face this dilapidated hurry cake. I won't even serve it to my dogs. This is supposed to be a 2-tier cake. So they went on to cuss bakery Treatz and they say we come in for the money Monday morning, right? Straight hundreds. They say update. Michelle, a bakery Treatz rep, not Michelle, called this morning. She begged that the post be taken down and a full refund was offered. But if you all, the post ain't right. But listen, that wedding party, all they look for that. All they shouldn't even think, all they get exactly what they wanted. Because if you're going by bakery Treatz for a cake, what you want is not cake. You want action. You want something to post. You want to make the day exciting. And that's what wedding days is about. It's about that day you'll never forget. So bakery Treatz do exactly what they're supposed to do for you. They make it unforgettable. Now, I was talking the police a little while ago, but right, you had to give props where props is due. But a random thought before I talk about that. All I remember when you used to play Mercy in primary school. Somehow that just popped into my mind. You remember Mercy where you had to bend back a man until he said Mercy is the worst game ever. But I don't know why that came into my mind just now. But some pictures is circulating. As we talk about police earlier and we talk about threesome and things. You know, I declare here because I get a picture from Stacy on my WhatsApp. And she is to send me a picture of a woman, policewoman. Anybody who know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And all of a sudden, pictures of best police is circulating. I don't know where this come from, but somebody go call me, I will get in problems because I'm definitely using that for the episode cover because I don't know who's his best police. So, I usually leave the episode with a song, and my plan was initially to play Farmer Nappy because Farmer Nappy is a genius and he's one of the greatest of all time. Farmer Nappy have a song named Backyard. You got to check it on YouTube for yourself, because of that. That was my song for the episode until I get this little message from Stacy. Me know if there's an offer. I don't know if there's an offer she said Whitney against certain thing, but I don't know. She said random, nothing before, no message saying what it's about or nothing. Just a picture of 2 policewomen. And I'm going to use them picture and 2 policewomen for the episode. So somebody go think, and when the time go bad, I go take it down. But I don't know if it's an offer, but I will let you know how it go. I'll chime in and let you know. But if she asks me back for other kind of threesome, I go to pass. But I changed any song because of that. And this song I want to leave you. Check out Farmer Nappy, right? Farmer Nappy is a genius with our backyard song. But it's a man by Mighty Spoiler. I wonder if I ever played Spoiler here before. Spoiler is one of my favorite calypsonians. But Spoiler sang a song back in the day about he wished they had woman police in Trinidad. So taking this one.
They should have woman police in Trinidad. Bet your life, spoiler would be more than glad. They should have woman police in Trinidad. Bet your life, spoiler would be more than glad. Only waiting till one keeping duty. I running right away and a kissing she. And when she snatch onto me, I won't say a word. But I hugging up my police going down the road. And all the time, I pulling me from she for she to hold me tight. The woman police must hold me tight. And I doing all that was right for she to hold me tight, tight, tight. A fella told me they would be more bad than the male police we have in Trinidad. But I don't care, they can be bad like a cobra. Don't talk when you see I drink my liquor. And I put in from west to east. I walking right away and hug up my police. She can hold me round my neck, squeeze me till I dead. But I'm kissing from she waist right up to she head. And all the time I pulling me from she for she to hold me tight. The woman police must hold me tight. And I'm doing all that was right for she to hold me tight, tight, tight. And when she carry me inside inside the chat room, a coupling of me police like a bridegroom. When the female sergeant asks me anything, is a heap of do darling answering. Honey chunks, my love, sweet coquette. I know by those names she would start to fret, but she can beat me, she can put me tear on me clothes. I retreating, advancing for me blows, and all the time I pulling me from she for she to hold me tight. The woman police must hold me tight, and I doing all that was fight for she to hold me tight, tight, tight. At the RL nuisance in the place, of course. If they really was to have woman police force, give them Tommy guns, give them hand grenade. Bet your life I am afraid I'm making the grade. Yes, I'm going to the battle zone, just to hug up you till my Polly and Joan. They can shoot down spoiler, I might die no doubt, but with the print of a lipstick on top of my mouth, and that is why I pulling me from she for she to hold me tight. The woman police must hold me tight, and I'm doing all that was fight for she to hold me tight, tight, tight.
Well, listen, they declare. So that spoiler is woman police. So I guess at the time it didn't have woman police, but the chorus of this song is very, very relevant. So, I mean, just playing it out. If it's an offer, it's an offer, I accept. Right? If it's an offer, she make and I accept. Right? If it wasn't an offer, none of this never happened, right? So, hopefully have a good week. I'll talk to you next week.